Hey guys, it's Ben from Hilltop Packs, and today we're going to talk about stuff sacks and dry bags and which one is right to use for your quilt while on the trail. It's the biggest question we have on the website by far, and for the longest time we didn't worry too much about making specific dry bags or stuff sacks and dry bags for quilts, mainly because a lot of manufacturers already give you the stuff sack for the bag. But after a year of questions almost daily about which should they use, a stuff sack or a dry bag, and which size they should use, we're finally making a video. And we've actually even added a few extra sizes onto our dry bag line to give the people what they want, which is a dry bag. Most people that I know use stuff sacks, but for some reason a lot of people through the website actually want to use a dry bag, and there are very good reasons why you'd want to use a dry bag, and we'll talk about that in just a second. So actually we'll talk about it right now. So which one should you use on the trail for your quilt? Should you use a stuff sack or should you use a dry bag? Okay, so for me, I use a stuff sack. Main reason is it'll compress inside your pack. When you put the quilt inside your stuff sack, there's going to be a small hole opening in the top. It's going to allow some air to come out, so as you compress it in the bottom of your pack or wherever you store it at, it's going to compress down easily and just kind of take up all that extra space and push it down and give you more volume to put other things inside your pack. With a dry bag, once you kind of roll this down and cinch it up and buckle it up, the air is going to be trapped in there, so whatever air is in there is going to stay in there. Whenever you put it in your pack, it's going to compress down to whatever it was whenever you close. It's not going to compress down anymore. So for me, the stuff sack works great. Now I'm just kind of a weekend warrior, 3 to 5 days, and that's about it. I do backpack in some wet weather, some snowy weather. This is still pretty good for me. But if you're planning on actually, possibly being submerged and having your pack go underwater by accident or by chance on one of your trips, the dry bag actually might be right for you. So if you're really worried about keeping the water out, the dry bag probably is the best choice. But again, if you're like me and you have a fairly weather resistant backpack and you use a pack liner, and the stuff sack is almost always going to be good enough for what you're doing. But again, if you're in an extremely aggressive environment where it's really wet, snowy, whatever, and you're doing some river crossings and you're worried about possibly being submerged in water, the dry bag actually might be a better option for you. Personal preference, but again, for me, the stuff sack mainly because I can compress it down better inside my pack as I'm packing my gear up. Just a little bit easier to work with. So, but the decision's completely up to you guys. Now let's talk about which size for which quilts. Mainly we're going to talk about quilts. We're not going to talk about sleeping bags, mainly because sleeping bags are all over the map as far as size and how big they are. But quilts, a lot of the manufacturers, especially the cottage industry, make a lot of the same size quilts, at least close to it. And we've tested a bunch of different ones. And the ones I have in front of me are a couple of different companies and different weather ratings, different temperature ratings. We'll talk about that in a second. So first we'll go ahead and talk about the stuff sack and which ones you should be using for that. So let's get rid of the dry bags. So we do have two different size stuff sacks here. And I have 3 different quilts. This is a 50 degree, I have a 20 degree, and a 0 degree. Now a very popular quilt would be like a 40 degree, but this is a 50. I'm kind of a hot sleeper, so I went for something even lighter. This is a Enlightened Equipment 50 degree. This will fit perfectly in our jumbo stuff sack, and I'll just show you. So if you have a 50 degree or 40 degree, possibly even a 30 degree, it'll fit in here just fine. Now once you get to the colder temperatures, temperature ratings, you're not going to have much more room for anything else, but my 50 degree has plenty of extra room. I could even throw my shirt, an extra shirt in there, some socks, plenty of extra room. It works just fine. Now I could put the 20 degree in here, but it gets a little tight. So I'm going to go ahead and show you the 20 degree in the Jumbo Plus. This is a little bit bigger than the Jumbo. This is the Jumbo Plus. It's just a little bit wider, a tiny bit longer, and it'll fit a 20 degree just fine. This is also an Enlightened Equipment. These are all like 850 to 950 fill quilts, which is pretty standard. Again, we're working with the stuff sacks, both the Jumbo and the Jumbo Plus. Right now I'm using the Jumbo Plus with a 20 degree quilt. And it fits in there pretty good. Now this is the Jumbo Plus. Now I didn't even push this down and compress it, but you could spend more time pressing it down and you could still get some clothes in there if you want to put something else inside there. Fold it up, blow up pillow, some extra clothes. You have plenty of room to do that. Get rid of that one. Now we're going to do the 0 degree. This is a, what brand is this? This is a Cedar Ridge Outdoors. Good company. Check them out, Cedar Ridge. Good people work there. Talked to them when I ordered this thing. So this is a 0 degree. I think this is on 850 fill, so it's a little bigger than maybe like a 950 fill would be. Again, we're going to work with the Jumbo Plus. I'm going to speed this video up. Okay, again, so this is a 0 degree. Now that's before I really press it down, but even right there, it'll cinch up just fine. If you want to put some clothes in there, you still have room to compress it down even further. And you can put some socks in there, an extra shirt, whatever you needed, and that'll fit. So still plenty of room. It'll fit in sideways in almost every pack that I own anyway. It'll fit in there just fine, and it'll compress down, as I was explaining earlier, because there's a slight hole up here. So when you put these in your pack, you know, I wouldn't recommend putting them up this way. I mean, you could, not a big deal. I wouldn't even put them down this way in the bottom of your pack in case the bottom of your pack gets some water in it. I'll put it in sideways. And it's going to compress down pretty nice. Let's move on to the dry bags. Okay, so for the dry bags, we have a Jumbo and a Jumbo Plus. Now we also do have a large, and I know some guys do use the large for like the 50 degree and 40 degree quilts. It gets a little tight. I prefer to use the Jumbo and the Jumbo Plus, but you could maybe squeeze it in the large dry bag that we have. But just for today, we're going to not use that. But you could, if you really have a really light quilt, you could use the large, but it gets pretty tight. And you'll see we're going to work with the Jumbo and the Jumbo Plus. So we're going to grab the 50 degree, which is also very similar to a 40 degree. We're going to put it in the Jumbo dry bag here, and we'll speed up the video again. So there, so you have a little bit of room at the top, obviously, because you have to roll it down. And if you want to put some clothes in here, you could really press it down even further. And then you would roll it down. Make sure you get all the air out. And like I said, you can put some clothes in there if you wanted to. It fits in your pack nicely. So if you want to keep everything nice and dry, 100% and almost 100%. You would use a dry bag, so the Jumbo would fit your 40 or 50 degree pack or quilt just fine. So once you move on to like the 20 degree, it kind of depends on your quilt really. If you have a higher down count, like a 950 fill, you might be able to get it in here just fine. This is a, I believe, 900, 950. We're gonna go ahead and put it in the Jumbo bag. This is the Jumbo Plus. We're going to go with the Jumbo first and just show you. It'll fit. Again, I'm going to speed up the video. So there, now we got to press it down a little bit to get the roll. Now, if you're only putting your quilt, because again, this is a 20 degree, it'd be close to like a 15 or even maybe a 30. You can put it in here. Not much room to put like extra clothes or anything in it, but enough room to kind of roll it down, get the air out. So you could put some extra clothes in there if you needed to, but that is the Jumbo with a 20 degree quilt in it. Now, I personally would probably just go ahead and jump up to the next one. So in case someone put some extra gear in it, I would do that. But make your own choice. Now we're going to talk about the Jumbo Plus. This is a 0 degree. I believe this is an 850 fill. So it is a little bigger than like a 950, but a very warm quilt. This is again a Cedar Ridge, and I will speed the video up. We're going to put this one in the Jumbo Plus. Okay, as you can see, a little extra room on top, but again, I didn't compress it yet, so we're going to push it down. Now with this, a little extra room, put some extra clothes in there if you want, an extra shirt, extra socks. Really push it down. You really get the air out. If you're going to use a dry bag, get the air out before you put it together. And that is the Jumbo Plus with a 0 degree. You could potentially go down to a -10 quilt. But again, these things hold air, so they're not going to compress down a whole lot more than what it is. With the stuff sack, it compresses down. So hopefully that helps you guys out. Again, we have the Jumbo and the Jumbo Plus on the stuff sack side. We have a Jumbo and a Jumbo Plus on the dry bag side. Hopefully it helps. You guys have any questions, you can answer or ask them down below in the YouTube video or on the website. Send us a question. We'll absolutely answer any questions you guys throw at us. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.